Starting our interview today.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so is it the right time?
Yes, yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, so we can start with your introduction, a
Yes,
brief
yes.
introduction.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I have 3 years of experience as a Devops engineer. In that,
Mm-hmm.
initially I started my career as a build and release. So after that, I have end to end, I am taking care of all the things. So in these 3 years of experience, I have worked on different tools like build tools and Maven, okay, and version control systems, Git, GitLab, Bitbucket, I have worked on. And that artifact repositories, I have Nexus and JFrog, I have worked on mainly. The Solar Cube, as I have used it as a source code quality management tool. I have. So application servers like WebSphere application server and the Wildfly, Tomcat, I have worked on. Tomcat mainly, and Tomcat and Wildfly. So the Jenkins, I have used it as a continuous integration tool, and also that Urban Code Deploy as a deployment tool. Okay, and Ansible I have worked on. And that New Relic and App Dynamics are the application monitoring tools I have worked with. And all these tools, and I have configured in the most of the time in the Linux server, so I am very good in Linux commands. And also the shell scripting, I have written many shell scriptings for deployment and server monitors purpose. Coming to roles and responsibilities, so from newly onboarded projects from scratch, I am configuring all the GitHub administration. So I'm using the version control as the GitHub. So creating the organization, creating the repositories, teams, everything I can take. And in the Jenkins also I have created a CI/CD pipelines from scratch. And for already existing projects, I am supporting almost 20 applications. I am supporting. Okay. So if any build related issues, I am fixing. Suppose sometimes the developer will commit that without a dependency jar file. So that time will get like class not found error. So I'm working with the development team and I'm fixing. And also if any new resource is joining into my team, so I'm giving the knowledge transformation. What are the processes which we are following? So everything I will give that touch base to all the tools which we are using. Yeah, these are the roles and responsibilities.
Any experience with Docker?
Yeah, I worked on Docker also.
So why are we using Docker?
So if you want to develop that and if you want to ship to the any environment, so if you deploy as a container based application instead of normal deployment, we can, so it will contain Docker is the main container based. Suppose whatever that application developed, you can create that as an image along with all the running whatever the software instances you want. So you can share with that one. So the other developer or whatever they will down pull that image and they will run immediately. So that it is a container based. Suppose n number of applications you can deploy. So using that SWAM, I have deployed clustering also. So and provided the load balancing. 3 instances we have deployed the same application. So using the SWAM, I have very good knowledge on this Docker as well.
Can you tell me how to create a Docker namespace?
Docker namespace. So Docker create that namespace you can give automatically. It will create. So everything it will be done by that Docker daemon. Docker daemon which will be take care of this.
Mm-hmm. How will you check the IP address of a Docker?
Docker that container ID. Docker inspect that container ID you can give automatically. It will give all the everything IP addresses it will give.
Tell me about Docker Compose file.
Docker Compose. So usually the Docker -compose.yml file in the YAML format we will use for that one writing. So there you can mention so what is the services, how many instances of that container as a service. Everything you can mention. What is the image you have to download from the Docker registry, Docker trusted registry DTF. So everything will mention and we will run that Docker Compose automatically. It will create. So there you can mention. Once suppose if any instance is down, immediately you have to restart. So like that we'll write everything in the Docker compose file.
Have you deployed any applications using containers?
Yeah, I have
In your
deployed. See, for my one of the project, so 6 QA persons are there. So they have developed that application, and they need to run that one, the Selenium test cases, automation test cases. So that one
Okay.
I have deployed in that container.
You know Selenium?
Sorry?
You know Selenium?
I know that basics, but I didn't get a chance to work on this one because the dedicated automation test engineers are there. So I know that Java basics and Selenium, how to run the Selenium. So they're using the Cucumber basics feature for running the Selenium scripts.
Do you know XPath? What is XPath?
So export is just basically for finding that element. Suppose once you will open, so you have provided the username, password. You want to click on that login. So if you want to click on that login, first you have to find that login button export so that it is able to find. So using the export, maybe it will be like a class ID or that element ID. You can take that one.
Okay, fine, fine. So in Docker,
Mm.
so if I exit from a container,
Mhm.
will the data exist or will the data will be lost?
It will be data will be lost. You have to suppose you have connected to the container and you did some install some software and all. So if you exist, if you stop that container, automatically you lose everything. You have to commit that one, whatever the work you have. Using Docker
How?
commit, Docker commit that we
Okay.
have to give the container ID.
So why volumes are used then?
So if you want to store any data, so that's why we'll use the volumes. So in the container, suppose you deployed one application, suppose web application, suppose you are uploading some images. So if you want to store that images, we'll use that volumes.
Okay. Can you tell me what is Swan cluster?
Uh,
What is
so,
Swan?
Swarm is used for this for creating the clustering. Suppose if the container with help of container just only can deploy one application. Suppose if you deploy one application, if you don't provide the clustering for your application is providing the high availability. If you want high availability is nothing like zero downtime, 0% downtime. So
Okay.
if it is in the very critical applications, like e-commerce applications, you have to provide a high availability, zero downtime. If you want to provide a high availability, definitely you have to implement the clustering, whether whatever it may be the clustering. So for clustering purpose, we'll use the SWAM. So in the clustering, we'll deploy same application in multiple instances, so that if any instance goes, also other instances will serve the service to the clients who are using that application. Suppose customers are using, suppose take one application, e-commerce portal application like Amazon. So if you deploy same an application in one container, if the container is down, nobody able to access that. Suppose if you deploy in a clustering, even one instance is down also, other instances will up and running and it will help you providing the high availability of your application.
How will you monitor a Docker if
How will
everything
you
is running? Monitoring.
just if you want to check that Docker container process under, just you can type Docker container, that container ID, and you can use the one command called as stop command. So you can monitor
Okay.
all the processes which are running and all the utilization you can check in that container.
So if I want, if I have a situation like I want to copy something from the container to
So
outside.
that time you can use the one Docker keyword is there, copy, COPY, copy with capital letters. Copy, give that whatever the target file and give that path of container path where you have to store that one. Using copy, we can copy that one into the container. So in the
How?
Docker file, you have to write that keyword, Docker keyword.
Okay. Tell me about. Do you have experience in Python?
Python, I didn't get the chance to work on, but I have knowledge. I have worked on the shell scripting. So if
Okay.
it is requirement, definitely I have knowledge on the Java. So if you know the Java, that is also object-oriented programming, just all the basics classes into it. But I didn't get a chance to work on, and I didn't look on that. And if it is requirement, definitely give me 1 week. I will explore, and definitely I will implement.
How will you read a file in shell?
So if you want to read a file, we'll use the read command just for whatever you are giving the command. Suppose read, and you can declare one file that a file name whatever. Automatically whatever you are entering in that command line, the read command it will read and it will store it, assign that value into that variable. So that if you
Suppose if I
want to
want to,
access, suppose if you want
yeah.
to display that variable value, just echo dollar that variable name. Automatically that variable value it will use.
Uh, Suppose what will be the output of $2?
Dollar. Suppose if you in the Linux commands, if you execute any command or this one shell script, automatically it will create a one process. If you want to know that process ID of that shell script, we will use the dollar. Dollar will be the process ID.
What will give like dollar question mark?
Dollar question mark. Suppose it will give the previous command execution status. So I used it in my shell script also. Based on that,
Okay.
so I have used it in the conditional statement. So dollar question mark is equals 0. Then only so dollar question mark is the execution status. It is successful. It will give the 0. So if it is command not found, it will give the 127 is the standard error code. Based on that, I am following I'm executing other commands. So I use it in the if condition, this dollar question mark.
How will you check if a file is empty, not empty, if it has content or not?
So if you execute ls-l command, it will show all the description like suppose size, who is the owner of that one, okay, who is the group of related to, how many links are created, file size, everything it will mean. So if it is 0, that it will show the file is empty.
Okay. Suppose in script you want to check, right? How
Okay.
will you check that way?
Okay, so using find command also you can check it. Find, okay, hyphen name, that is
Okay.
and give the file name, hyphen empty. It will display all the empty files. If you want to display empty directories, find hyphen type D, you have to pass D. D means directories, hyphen empty. It will display all the empty directories. Using find command, you can find empty files or empty directories as well as.
Do you know about signals trap?
Yes, signal. So in the kill command, you are saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is a trap command? What is trap command?
Can you explain me that symbol? Means that spell it command.
TRAP, trap.
Trap command. No, I'm not aware of the trap command, but I know this kill command. So in the kill, almost 64 signals are there, but I'm using mainly the -9 for killing any process. Suppose I'm trying to stop one service using service command, the service name stop, but it is not stopping. So what I will do, I will take that process ID, PS-AF grep, whatever the Java process, whatever the Tomcat. So it will give the process ID, and using kill command, kill -9, the signal, 9 means the signal is killing. So, and I will process the process ID so that it will forcefully kill that process. Like that.
How will you read an array input?
Okay, so I have used this array in that along with the read command. So read -a and give that that array name. So -a means array. So suppose please enter some these Devops tools. Some example is there. So dynamically user will type how many values we don't know, right? That time we can use the read -a that array name. So automatically whatever the developer that user will enter all the tools, it will put it into that array. So that if you want to access that echo dollar symbol, put in the flower brackets that array name, and in the array starts with the index 0. So if you want to the first value, you can give that 0. So like that you can access that array values. But array index starts from 0, but size starts from 1.
How will you count the number of lines in a file?
So number of lines in a file. So using one, we know one command WC, word count. WC by default it will give number of lines, number of words, number of characters. So if you want the lines, just you have to pass one option called as a WC-L, and the file name you can give. Automatically it will display number of lines in that file.
Suppose in a text file you have entries with duplicates. I want to find only duplicates. How will you find?
Only duplicates. Okay. So, but using sort command -n, you will display. Suppose use sort command, it will display all these things. So, if you want to remove duplicates and using sort, just sort -n, that text file name it will remove the duplicates and it will display in the sort order.
Okay. I have a file with single space separated columns.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it a tab space or a comma separated values or columns. How will you do that?
So using AWK, we can find that one. By default, AWK, it will such as the pattern spaces. So if you give in as a delimiter as something else, so that time you can use AWK-F, that delimiter you have to use.
How about this logs? Suppose if I want to delete some 30 days data, how will you delete?
So using find command, you can find that file or anything directory. Different conditions you can pass. Last 1 day or last 30 days, you have to mention that from date and this date. And -delete, you can automatically, it will delete all the files which are from that particular date range, whatever you have given. Suppose you want to delete all the files which are having 1 GB. Like that, based on the condition, using find command, you can find and you can delete also.
Have you taken backup of any work that you have taken? How will you take it?
So actually, I have created one shell script called as dbbackup.sh. So what it will do, I have created one template and I have worked with the DBA guy. So DBA guy is added all the DB commands along with my shell script file. So we have configured this cron tab. Every day night 12 o'clock, every day it is taking the backup. So and it is putting that one location. Like that we are taking the backup.
Okay. Debugging, how will you do debugging in shell scripting?
Shell scripting debugging. So we can do in two ways, like while running itself, entire shell script if you want to run in the debug mode, -x and give that a shell script file name. So that time it will run all the lines in the shell script, that file it will run in the shell script, the debug mode. Suppose I know in some particular lines I want to run in the debug mode, set, so what are the lines you want to debug? So from before that line you can add one line, one command called set -x, and after, so which lines you want to close, so set +x. So whatever in between set -x and set +x, those lines will run in the debug mode. Like this, okay. I have run in the debug mode and I fixed the issues.
Yeah, fine. So how will you rate yourself in Ansible 1 to 5?
Ansible, I can give 3.
Okay. Tell me the difference between shell and command module.
Shell and command module. So, shell is like one intermediate between the client and that operating system, kernel. So whatever you are executing in the command line, those commands it will take by the shell and it will give it to that operating system so that it will execute that one. So in the command prompt, so it is in the Windows machine, DOS operating system. All the commands, whatever it is running in the shell, it will not in the DOS command prompt.
Okay. So do you know host key checking? What is host key checking?
Host name I know. Host key means it will be available in the etc directory /host is the one file is there. So just in the Ansible you are saying?
Yes.
Okay. So in the Ansible /etc/Ansible/host is the one default file name. Once you install that Ansible software, that file will be there. There all the, suppose Ansible server, it has to connect to 50 instances, 50 host servers. So all the 50 servers IP addresses will mention in that default inventory file. So we used to call it inventory file because it maintains all the host inventories. That's why we used to call it host inventory. That is the default for this /etc/ansible host is the file name. So there will mention all the IP addresses of that particular, how many host machines are going to connect by this Ansible server. So Ansible is a agentless mechanism. Agentless mechanism it will work. So mainly it uses the SSH connection type. So suppose from Ansible server to, if you want to connect to that 50 host machines, first you have to generate one SSH key in the Ansible server. You have to copy into that all the Ansible servers, what that host machines.
Okay. So I'm asking about what is host key checking?
Host key checking, I'm not getting. Maybe can you ask me in depth, like can you explain me what scenario that host key I'm not getting?
I'm saying when you are connecting.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you are asking that that playbook. You are asking host is the one key in that you are saying.
No. When I'm trying to connect to a new host,
okay,
it will prompt me, right? Are you sure you want to connect to this new host?
Yes.
So to avoid that, yeah.
Okay, so for that one you have to before connecting to that one, take the type and you can put it into the known _host is a one file which is available in the .ssh user home .ssh directory. There you can add automatically. It will not ask this one.
Okay. So what all modules you have used in your project?
Ansible modules.
Yes, Ansible modules.
Ping module, okay, and some shell modules. So mainly those modules I have worked with.
Only those modules?
Yeah.
So do you know, suppose if I want to make a changes in particular file in a particular line.
Okay.
So if I match a particular regular expression pattern in that line, I have to replace the entire line with the new content, new line.
Okay.
So how can I do that in Ansible?
For that one, you have to write a one shell script. Ansible playbook. So in that playbook, you can mention using std command. So whatever you want to, so std. So whatever that regular expression, so I want to replace it, suppose something Devops with Java. So wherever the Java is there, Devops is there, I want to replace with something Java development, something like that. So use that one. So that same playbook you can execute. So in the playbook we'll mention in which host machine it has to connect, and so I have while creating that inventory playbook. So I mentioned that I have divided the groups. App servers like that. So I need to mention that in the playbook host that group name. So automatically if I run that playbook in wherever the machines it will connect, and there all the files it will replace whatever that thing.
Have you worked on roles?
Roles? No, I didn't work on mainly. Just mainly I used it for deployment. This one as well as urban code deployment, both tools.
You know about Ansible Galaxy?
The Ansible Galaxy also I did work that.
Okay, fine. So you have used Git or SVN?
I have used the Git as a version control system, and GitLab also.
GitLab as well. Okay. So can you explain me about what is how the flow from the working directory to the remote?
Okay.
How would you commit some code? How would you revert if something goes wrong?
Okay. So first you have to create one empty repository in your local machine. For that one we'll use the git init. Git init it will create one empty git repository in your local machine. So after that you will create some files using some touch or VIM. So once you create any file, it will be in the working directory or workspace within Cal. So if you want to move from working area to the staging area, we'll use one command called as git add. So git add, and you can give dot. So automatically whatever in the current directory, it will move, working directory, it will move to the staging area. So once it is moved to the staging area, I want to commit so that it will go to the local repository. For that one, I have used that git commit -m and I have given the message. Suppose first time I am committing means so I will give the initial commit. After updating, suppose next time I will give some proper commit message. So I have used the git commit, and after that I have executed that one. Automatically it will commit into my local repository. So from my local repository to I want to move to that push to the remote repository. First I need to create a one repository on the remote server. So to log in into the remote server, just create a one repository. After that, take that repository, add that map that remote repository one with your local repository using git remote add and give the alias name for that particular URL. So give that alias name. You can give any name for that alias and give that remote repository URL. So that you will map that remote repository URL with that your local repository. So after that, you want to check whether it is mapped or not. For that one, git space remote -b. So automatically it will shows how many remote repositories you mapped with your local repository. Once you map it successfully, you have to push that code. For that one, we'll use the git push is the command. Git push that alias name, whatever you have given. Suppose you given the origin as alias name for that remote repository. Git push origin, and you have to give the branch name. So automatically, once we create any repository, it will create a one branch called as a master branch. So git
Yeah, fine.
push. Okay.
Fine, Srinivas.
Okay. Thank you.
So I think you are already serving notice period, right?
Yes, I am serving notice period. But
I think you might be having any other offer, right?
no, right now I don't have any offer. Actually,
So,
that project is going to over, and we don't get that new project. That's why I'm looking immediately.
how long is your current notice period? Actually, like 30
Actually, that is 2 months notice period. Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, next 20 days it will over my notice period.
Okay. So what kind of role are you expecting? Like it?
I can take from end to end from the end to end automation
Okay.
from full DevOps, full stack DevOps engineering.
Okay. So how will you rate yourself in Jenkins?
Jenkins, out of 5, I can rate 4. I'm very good in Jenkins. I have created all the jobs. This one.
Okay. Fine. Fine, Srinivaslu, I think we are done with our interview.
Okay.
HR will let you know the
Okay.
feedback.
I have a small question. Thank you for your time, first of all. And I want to know what kind of profile you are looking so that I can estimate whether I can able to suitable for your role.
The profile is of DevOps engineer only. You will have to work from like end-to-end flow only, which you're looking.
Okay.
The profile is as per your expectations.
Okay.
But I believe like you will have further discussions also with the client and
Sure,
other
definitely.
people.
Okay.
There also you can get it clarified.
Okay.
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 I will suggest like to get it very clear like what kind of profile they are offering and what kind of you are looking. But as far as I know, it's for the DevOps engineer admin kind of role, which is exactly what you're looking for. It will be for like end-to-end flow.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. And may I know the client? Is it?
Exactly, I'm not sure of that.
Okay.
I'm sure HR can tell you that.
No
HR
problem.
will get connected. Yeah, HR will actually let you know about the feedback, and you can ask about the client's name and all from the HR, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Starting your interview today.
Yes.
Yeah. So, is it the right time?
Yes. You can go ahead.
Okay. So we can start with your introduction.